Now, working with Photoshop, you're going to want to bring in images to work with. And when you open it up by default, you'll see that it has this background layer. And that background layer is currently locked. To unlock that background, I can click on the lock button here. And if I click the lock button again, you'll see that it is now locked. And that means I'm unable to change it or move it. You can also turn on and off the visibility of a layer. And when you see these transparent pixels, or well, when you see this checkerboard, that means these are transparent pixels, that there is no image that is presented there. To bring in an image or import an image, you've got a couple different ways to do it. The first is if I go to my Google image search and I've searched cat with a white background and I click on the image, I can right click, copy image, and go back to Photoshop and Control or Command V to paste it in, or edit and paste, and that will paste it inside our canvas. Now you'll notice that it pasted it at a different size than what our canvas is set to, right? We set ours to 800 by 800. And if I come back here and hover over, you'll see this is 1680 by 1050. So that's going to be larger. To scale this image down, I can do Control T or Command T, or go to Edit, Free Transform. And when I do that, you'll see that I get these bars popping up along the outside. And if I zoom out with Control minus, you'll see that now we can see the full image. And if I hold, I don't need to hold down Shift here. It's going to keep it proportional because this little element is locked at the top, and that happens by default. I can shrink it down. And then in order to do anything else, I need to hit Enter to place it. So I can copy and paste directly into a canvas. What is also kind of interesting is if I right click, and we'll do a different one. If I right click and go copy image, and I go to File and New, now you'll see that there is a clipboard option here. And this is going to be set to whatever we had copied from originally. So if I go clipboard and create, and Control V or Command V to paste it in, you'll see that it's set to the exact right size around our image. The other way to do this is if and I'm going to delete my layer with this cat out, is if I come to this one here, let's do this one. This one I see is 626 by 417. And if I want to do like a larger image, I can go to Tools, Size, and Large. And you'll see that I can bring in images that are 1920 by 1080. Great. Let's right click on this image and save image as. And this is what I'd recommend doing because you're going to be compiling assets that you're working with. And you'll see that, hi Keanu, that we will have, I'm going to go to my tutorial files, Photoshop tutorials, and I've created a file called assets, or a folder called assets. And I'm going to save this inside here. And you'll see that I'm saving as a JPEG, which is a file format that is standard, that does not have transparency, that we'll use for exporting images to be shared elsewhere. And I'm going to call this cat large and save. And it saved it here. And I could click on this and drag and drop it into my canvas. But what I want to show you is the method that I like is File and Place Linked. And what this allows me to do is create a referenced file elsewhere. So instead of deleting my file, or instead of placing my file inside here and then having the chance to delete it and it's hard to go back, now I'm going to have like a protected file elsewhere. And if I go to Place Linked, I'm going to navigate to my folder, cat large, and place. And you'll see that it has sized it to my canvas, and I hit Enter to place it. And you'll see this little item right around here. You'll see this link button, and that means that this is a linked document. If I double click on this document here, you'll see that it takes me to the original, the cat large JPEG. Now, if I make a change here, if I did some destructive editing, let's make our brush size a little bit larger. Getting a little ahead of ourselves, but just an example. And I do Control S or Command S, and I say, okay. And I come back to the imported image. You'll see that those two are connected, right? That linked image, if I make a change inside this one, it'll make a change here. And that's this idea of embedded elements or referenced files. So I'm going to come back and undo that move I just did. So Command Z, Command Z, Command Z to go back, Control S or File and save. And now when I come back here, that'll be fixed. But I want to keep that as I don't want to destructively edit my image because then we can't change it later on. And so place linked is the method that I would use for importing your images for the projects that we're working on this semester.